Tales of the Shattered Mirror. Tales of the Shattered Mirror, the puppet who cut his strings, a wooden puppet hung in a theater. He could dance, fight, and sing, but only when the strings jerked his limbs. He hated the strings. "I am a slave," he shouted to the empty theater at night. "These wires bind me, they control my every move. If I were free of them, I would be a real boy." He spent weeks rubbing his wrists against a sharp nail in the scenery. Snap, snap. One by one, the strings gave way. "Freedom!" cried the puppet as the last string broke. He expected to fly. He expected to run. Instead, he collapsed instantly into a heap of disjointed wood on the floor. He lay there in the dust, unable to lift a finger, unable to turn his head. "You fool," whispered the floorboards. "You thought the strings were holding you down. You did not realize they were the only things holding you up." Moral: you curse the power Shakti that moves you, calling it fate or bondage. But without that connection, you are just driftwood. The knife that tried to cut water, a magnificent steel sword, sharp enough to split a hair, grew arrogant. "I can divide anything," it boasted. "I can separate the head from the body, the branch from the tree, the this from the that." It looked at the river flowing nearby. "You are too big," said the sword. "I will cut you into pieces and own you." The sword slashed violently at the water. Splash. The water parted for a microsecond and then instantly healed, flowing around the blade as if nothing had happened. The sword hacked and chopped in a fury, hour after hour, trying to create a scar in the river. Finally, the sword grew tired. It stuck in the mud at the bottom. The water flowed over it silently. Slowly, the water began to eat the steel. The sharp edge turned to orange rust. The divider was dissolved by the indivisible. Moral: you try to divide reality with the intellect, but awareness is a river. It cannot be cut. It can only be joined. The king who banned mirrors. A king was born with a face so terrifying that it made children cry. He hated his own image. He issued a decree: all mirrors in the kingdom must be smashed. All still water must be disturbed. No reflection is permitted. The kingdom became a place of shattered glass and churning mud. The king felt safe. "Now I do not exist," he thought. "I have erased the monster." He walked into his throne room. 1,000 courtiers bowed, their faces pale with terror. The king looked into the eyes of his grand vizier and saw a tiny reflection of his own beastly face in the vizier's pupil. He looked at his wife and saw himself in her eyes. He looked at his dog and saw himself in the animal's gaze. He realized he had smashed the glass, but he had not smashed the seeing. "I am trapped," screamed the king. "Every eye is a mirror." Moral: you try to hide from your own nature, but the universe is nothing but a billion eyes looking back at you. To exist is to be seen. The corpse that wanted to dance. A corpse lay on a funeral pyre. It looked exactly like a man. It had legs, arms, a mouth, and eyes. "Why am I lying here?" the corpse thought. "I have all the parts, I have the machinery, I should get up and dance." The corpse tried to lift its leg. Nothing happened. It tried to open its mouth. Nothing happened. "I don't understand," cried the corpse in its mind. "I am Shiva the divine. Why am I not moving?" The fire whispered to him. "You are not Shiva. You are Shava, corpse. You are missing the letter I." "What is I?" asked the corpse. "The I is Aika, the will. It is Shakti, the energy. Without the I, the God is just meat. You have the form, but you have lost the vibration." Moral: structure without energy is dead. Knowledge without will is a cemetery. You must become the I to turn the meat into God. The man who ran out of gravity. A man prayed to the gods. "Release me. I am heavy. I am burdened by the earth. I want to float in the spiritual sky." The gods granted his wish. They turned off gravity for him. Instantly the man shot upward. He screamed as he passed the treetops. He flailed as he passed the clouds. He entered the cold, black vacuum of space, drifting endlessly, unable to stop, unable to touch anything, freezing in the dark. "Take me back," he sobbed. "I want the weight, I want the heaviness." He realized that the burden of gravity was actually an embrace. It was the earth holding him close, keeping him warm, keeping him grounded. Moral, we ask for absolute transcendence, forgetting that it is the gravity of love that keeps us from being lost in the cold void. Our legs.